do Cuzzo's. I still don't know if this is going on Patreon or if it's going to go on the Sunroom Tea. So, I don't know. I guess get in where you fit in. That message flew out. I can't see it. It went face down. This is the Gemini New Moon reading, yo. Happy Gemini New Moon. You can feel this energy 3 days before, 3 days after. You can work with this energy 3 days before, 3 days after. The Gemini New Moon occurs tomorrow at 8:37 a.m. depending upon your location. Go check it out. I think it's 5:38 a.m. if you live in California or on the Pacific Coast, and it would be 9:38 a.m. if you are on the East. I'm in Dallas, so Central Standard Time. The Sun, Moon, Venus, and Jupiter are all in Gemini. So I know that a couple days ago we had a parade of planets, whatever that means and whatever that may have looked like for you. I hope that you were able to feel some illumination because we are on the journey to a fast-paced summer. Gemini is very fast-moving, very fast-acting, very fast-thinking. So it's important that we slow down and kind of get our bearings in this season, especially following this new moon. It will be occurring at 16 degrees of Gemini, which is actually the Cancerian degree. Cancer, mother, fourth house ruler, ruled by the moon, nurturer, ancestors, roots, all of that. So under this new moon, much of that may be activated within you as far as clarity about where you have come from, who you have come from. Gemini is the inner child, so there can be a lot of relinquishing and redemption for your inner child and your younger self. You retrieving them. I think I spoke last week. I don't know where I was, Patreon or YouTube, but your inner child's still waiting for you. So going back to retrieve them, whether it's in the playground or in the sandbox or at the park, going to retrieve them and taking them with you on the next parts of your journey really will be highlighted under this new moon. Venus will be conjunct the moon. Jupiter will be trine the moon. This is going to be giving us all the opportunity to establish our notoriety. If we've been kind of hiding away and don't want to be seen, or we don't want people to know exactly what we can do. I've lived long enough that I know when and where to play dumb, you know, and or pretend like I don't know what's going on, so that either the job will get done for me or there will be some sort of pity taken on me. I'm not even ashamed to admit it, you know. But that's kind of playing it small. Because sometimes if you choose that you're just not going to learn whatever it is so that you can always pass the task off to someone else, then you're kind of doling your shine. And then if you do know how to do it, but you just don't want people to know how you do it, my trick is braiding. My ex-husband didn't know I could braid for like 4 years, and he had hair. He would go and pay people to get his hair braided. I didn't braid. I didn't let him know. One of my friends, we were roommates, never told her I could do hair. We were friends for a couple of years. She didn't know I could do hair. And I can do enough hair to get us through, you know. We're going to make it to the club. We're going to look good, right? Didn't know. Don't know, no. Not going to advertise that information. Because y'all know how we do. The minute we know somebody can braid or even throw a plait, oh, they the new hairstylist. Not me. I don't ever want you to get it misconstrued. I never said I could do hair like that. I could just do enough to get us by. Well, anyway, that's the same thing of kind of like playing it small. You don't want people to know how great you are. You don't want people to know how talented you are or what your unique talent is. Gemini New Moon, Jupiter trine the moon, Jupiter in Gemini is not going to allow you to continue to hide from that. Now, Jupiter is in detriment in Gemini. It does not like to be in Gemini simply because Jupiter's ruling planet is Sagittarius, which is Gemini's opposite sign. And Jupiter is very far away from Sagittarius right now, and will be until June of next year. So the best thing that I can suggest is grid work, energy work, grounding, because Jupiter, again, largest planet in the sky, anything that it touches, it expands. And then Gemini is an air sign, naturally aloof almost, you know, always flowing to the next thing and involved. I had their hand in every little thing. You will need to have some grounding. You will need, and it will be specifically up to you. I've been saying it for weeks, months, years, if you've been around long enough, that your vibration is your responsibility. Your frequency is your responsibility. What you focus on is your responsibility. And that's why the game of healing, evolving, and maturing can get not messy or ugly, but it can. Because when you first embark on the journey, it will be extremely ugly. But then it also can become isolating because people around you can see how you have changed. They can see how you're glowing, how you are growing, how everything is kind of moving in your favor. And when they ask you, how did you do it? And you tell them, oh, I just changed my vibration. I changed what I was thinking about. I changed what I was focusing on. I have these batch of affirmations that I say every day. As soon as I have a bad thought, I kick it out of my head, or whatever your modality may be. And when people hear that and they say, so you're doing nothing. Because some people will say, well, you're doing nothing. You didn't physically do anything. You didn't pick up more hours at work. That's not why you have more money. You didn't renew your vows. That's not why you and your partner are so much in love. You know, they're trying to figure out like what specifically happened, and you're trying to explain to them that it's a frequency, it's a vibration. And people get mad at that because it's hard work. It's hard grid work to stay on the grid. It's because life happens. Life is a series of challenges every day. And it's not about getting destroyed by the challenge. It's how am I going to learn from this challenge, apply it, and then move through it? Because if not, which is where we are kind of now since 2020 with these planet lineups, it's been a series of lessons that had to be learned and then repeated, learned and then repeated, learned and then repeated, because they weren't actually being applied. So it's the same with your vibration and your frequency. So with Jupiter being in Gemini until June of next year, beginning here at this shift, at this new moon, you really want to get very intentional and diligent in whatever your spiritual practice is, whatever your work is. And then I know we live in this day and age, and I used to be very guilty of the same thing, of sharing your spiritual practice or sharing whatever mechanism it is that you utilize to ground yourself, to cleanse yourself, to keep yourself, here, valid, connect with your ancestors, what have you. I would have to tell you to don't do that. This is we've been talking about it for weeks now, since the Sagittarius full moon, maybe even before that, honestly. This is a very sovereign part of the journey, and it must be protected with every merit of ourselves. So especially if you are embarking on something new in your spiritual practice, or it could even be something that you used to do and it kind of got old and dusty, mundane, and you're picking it back up, I would have to say, do not share it with the world. That's you, your spirit team, your God, your ancestors. Let's see. Gemini, ruler, communication, personal expression. We want to make sure that we are intentional with our words, realizing how powerful our words are. Not only our words, because Gemini rules the mind as well, but our thoughts. That's why, again, when I was just talking about grid work and how difficult it can be if someone has not gone in and done the diligent reprogramming of their psyche. If you grew up in an impoverished environment, it's literally going to take you a couple of years to reprogram the vibration that money is easy to get and you deserve a lot of it. And currency is just a frequency and you just need to tap into it. It will take you even longer almost to realize that once you realize that you are a magnet, you deserve it, it's attracted to you, it's going to come to you and it's yours, how are you going to maintain it? Because if you've never had money before, it will be hard for you to say, oh, well, this is my money and it will be here forever. If nothing else, you likely will spend every dollar that you've ever had, all the dollars that you have, because you've not had money before. So instead of someone giving you a large lump sum of money, you may want to get money and financial literacy all in one take, or realize that in this moment that you want more financial stability or you want more material possessions or what have you. But then you need to start with the foundational work, start with the grid work. If I were to be a millionaire, my accountant would be at this bank. My CPA would be here. This is how, like, you want to get into that mindset now, just as you would do with any other thing. Words can hurt. When they say stick and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Biggest lie I've ever heard. I've never told my daughter that. She's 8. Never told my daughter that. Words will hurt you. And if somebody say the right amount of words to you, you might have to get active on that ass. Hey, I'm a millennial mama. I'm a millennial mama. Miss us with all that. We grew up in the generation of That really was fucked up what you just said to me. You actually, I got plenty of scars from the sticks and the bones, and they don't hurt no more. They don't hurt no more all over my body. I can think back to what the girl told me when I was in 7th grade and how it broke my heart and how it still breaks my heart and how I raised my daughter to hope that if somebody ever break her heart that way, that it don't break her all the way down until she's 30 something. Fuck that. So Gemini, communication, ruled by Mercury. Gemini is the outward expression. Virgo is the inward expression. I already have said that Gemini is fast moving, fast thinking, fast acting. You will need to turn your tongue 2 or 3 times before you say what it is that you want to say following this Gemini new moon. Simply because you just don't want to get into a situation that don't write checks that your ass can't cash. Period. Whether that's at jobs, in relationships, on the streets, on social media, whatever it is. Stop, reflect, think about it, then communicate and commit. There will be a modification of the mental processes at this time too. While I was writing this, and I bullshit you not, I was writing. I was a passenger while I was writing these notes. I saw 666, 777, 888, and then the end before I got to the house was 444. It's insane. This new moon is asking us, what do we need to let go of in order for us to receive more? Hard no's are coming through with this new moon. Although full moons are usually the rejecter or the revealer, because of the transition, placement, and position of these planets, hard no's, hard rejections may come within days of this new moon. And if you're one of those people that doesn't like when you hear no, or you didn't want no for that situation, the universe is going to end it for you. If you don't know how to take the hard no and move on with grace, the universe will end that shit. So the same is true for relationships. Venus is in Gemini. The same is true if you're at a job that's not paying you good enough, or they're paying you too much, or you've been pussyfooting about school, or whatever it is. The hard no is going to come in so crisp, clear, and concise that you will have to be insubordinate to the universal actions to not see it or not feel it, because you will be affected by it. So wherever that door closes this week, let it stay there. Let it weld shut, because when a door shuts, a window opens. And if you don't know how to say goodbye, then the universe is going to force the ending for you. Since the beginning of the year, we have been accessing new levels of self-empowerment, self-awareness, just realizing what we want and what we don't want anymore. Said that a couple of months ago. We're now seeing that, I thought that I wanted this. I worked so hard to get in this direction, but now I'm getting to the next intersection and I see I was really supposed to be on the other side of the mountain. It can be a little stressful. It can be a little depressing. It can be a little debilitating. But when you realize that life has no mistakes and that you're always where you're supposed to be at, and you will get back to where you're supposed to be, it can change your whole frequency on that. Saturn is going to be square the moon tomorrow at 18 degrees, which is the Virgo degree. And Virgo has been a key player for like the last 3 or 4 moons in position. And during the Taurus new moon, I mentioned how Virgo's activity, because it was 6 degrees, how Virgo's activity has us fine-tooth looking at it. It's like, yeah, that's a cute purse, but nah, that thread is off. Yeah, I like you, but I don't like how you handle. Like, I can't just take it home with me because it's a nice label. You can't just stay with me because I've known you a long time. What are you adding as a benefit and luxury to my life? Because we all think of luxury a lot of times as financial things, tangible things, material assets, what have you. Luxury is a peaceful environment. Luxury is knowing that nobody knows your business and the people who know your business are keeping your secrets like they're their secrets. Luxury is when you're not having the best day, you can lean upon a pillar of support in your life, and with one word, can lift you back up. That's luxury. So the Virgo energy, the 18 degrees of Saturn in Pisces, because Pisces has had us delusional for years up to what can be accessible or acceptable, rather. But now with it at this 18 degrees of Virgo, it really is going to have us looking at it again like, nah, that's not it. And matter of fact, I know that this other direction, although it's going to be a little hard, this mountain, I've not studied it all the way, but I know that I am prepared. I have to go on this way and go on this journey. Saturn will be going retrograde the 29th of this month. So that's going to be fun. With it being Gemini season, we really are going to be realizing that we are all the teacher as well as the student. And that is the duality of Gemini. That is where things begin to make sense. Because even at my job now, I've been there almost a year, and I'm getting ready to be the one who trains a new person. But I just remember when I was so nervous that I didn't think I had it right. Why y'all putting me by myself? I'm not ready. And now I am here training someone else. So now, but I'm still learning, because today I learned something else at the job that I never heard of before. What? Say it again. Being the teacher, being the student forever, realizing that is what you are. I know I shared this on Patreon last week, but one of the doctors I work with is a Capricorn. He knows nothing about astrology, but he is so Saturninian. It's crazy. And last week someone said something to him along the lines of, well, I'm not learning, because she's a pro at what she does. She said, so I'm not learning. He said, you're always learning. No matter where you are in life, you're always a student. He's a whole doctor. I said, see, that's Saturn. So Saturn, Pisces, 18 degrees. Learning. We're still learning and applying. And that's what I was going to lead to. We've learned a lot about ourselves over the last year or so. But now we are going to be urged to apply it. You studied. Now go take the test. You studied. It's now time to get the job. You got the job. Now it's time to prove yourself. Like, no longer are we staying on the back burner with what it is that we have been studying, applying, or even being the teacher of. If you find that you are energetically antsy or exhausted, make sure that you rest. Again, Gemini is always up. My daughter's a Gemini, but when she hits a wall, she is just like me. I'm a Cancer, and she's a Gemini, but she is like me. She likes to go out. She wants to have fun. She wants to probably be out for a couple of hours, and then after that third location, she's like, when we going to the house? And then when she gets home, she wants to go into her room. She really gonna be by herself. Sometimes when me and her stepdad are like laughing and talking, she'll close the door on us like, y'all too loud. I think it's so funny because Miss Gemini, who ain't never met a stranger, who's always in the the business and always got something going on, is telling us that we too loud, and she wants some solitude and privacy at this time. But I always give it to her, and I just, again, the duality of Gemini. Outgoing, flourishing, wants to see it all, equally wants to be left alone. Leave him alone. June 2020, Venus was retrograde in Gemini. We've been learning our worth, reassessing our relationships, reassessing the things that we actually want to do. We were at a different star point, and now it's coming to the culmination of that star point now, this week. And what have you learned in those 4 years about your information and your skill set? Because 2020 was a weird time. 2020 was the pandemic, but I always say pandemic, that time was the best time. I know that we lost some people, and I know we lost some things. It was the best time for the soul manatee of humanity, because every person was forced to go internal, inside. What do I want to do? What can I do? What's my new hobby going to be? What's my new talent? I discovered my purpose. How many people discovered their purpose when they weren't able to go to work for 8 hours a day? But they discovered their purpose, so they didn't have to go back to work for 8 hours a day. What did you learn? What information about you and what information about your skill set did you learn? Some of us may have realized that we don't know half of what we think we do. We may be very well versed in many places and in many arenas, but in others, we are completely novice. We are the kindergartner in the class. We are the preschooler in that class, no matter how old we are. Which side of the coin are you on, or are you on both? Because it's easy to be on both sides. August 13th of 2023, Venus was retrograding, and it was a Cazimi. And then we have a Venus Cazimi yesterday, and Venus is direct. Go check out Eliza. I think her name is Eliza Kelly. Instagram. Very, very popular, very well known OG astrologer. She has a great video that breaks down the comparisons and the parallels from last summer up until now and where we are and what does your life look like. My downloads from it is the cycle is completing and we're being upgraded. What? I heard you beat the pop and I'm not like the streets. Oh, what? Facts. That's a jam. That's a jam. Even before I was a huge Beyonce fan, that was a jam. But we're being upgraded. And with the upgrade, we're realizing what improvements had to come with the upgrade. You wouldn't remodel your whole house and leave the kitchen. You wouldn't remodel your whole house and leave the bathroom. You wouldn't remodel everything in the house and leave the dirty, nasty carpet that's been there for 20 years. There is improvement that is needed on your journey to the next best version of yourself. And then also with this being a new moon and Gemini, plans may change. I tried to record this 3 times before I actually got through to do this. The first time and a half I hated my outfit. I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? This is not going to work. Then I finally got to recording and I didn't have no cards because I cleaned up my desk. So all my cards were behind this Chinese curtain. Then I finally got to recording and I saw these 2 specks run past my window and it was my dogs. How the hell did y'all get from the back? How did y'all get out y'all cage? What is going on? Plan for changes. Plan for things to be a little different. Flexibility is the name of the game. All right, y'all. Here's some energies for the new moon. We have indecision, door to value. So I've been saying worth, realizing your worth this new moon. The only indecision is not if this is going to be a good decision for you or a good place for you. You may be feeling like somebody's going to be mad or somebody's going to be offended because you left them behind. But any person who is supposed to be on the other side with you will eventually find their way to you. This is 8 right here. Infinite. So if y'all do come to a crossing the roads and you have to leave them, leave it, the situation, if it's supposed to be in your life, it'll find its way back. So you got to let that indecision go and walk into the door of value. Some of y'all been asking for money. Some of y'all been asking for abundance, prosperity, love, opportunity. But you letting indecision keep you from the door to value. Number 31. You're letting it keep you from the door to value. Because you caught up in these contracts from some shit that you likely didn't even see that you were signing. It could have been past life. It could have been you were young and dumb and full of. It could have been, that was your first love and you just don't know how to get over it, whatever. You have been binded to a contract blindly. You have blindly been binded to a contract. Literally, the universe is supporting you, asking you to remove this blindfold so that things can balance themselves out a little bit more for you. And stop weighing your decision off of if someone is going to accept or reject you. Because all you need to be worried about is your relationship that you got with you, the Most High God and Goddess, and your ancestors. Everything else needs to be let go of. Community is the final focus for this. You're worried about hurting someone's feelings who likely locked you into some shit, bind you into some shit, did a ritual on you, locked you up last lifetime, what have you, blindly. Then move into the door to value with a new community on the other side. But what did I say with the new moon in Gemini? What did I say about all the energies that are coming? Hard no's. They're going to be hard no's that are here. And if you attempt to deny, reject, turn blind eye to the hard no, what did I say? The universe is going to end it for you. The universe is going to force that door closed. They giving you the opportunity to say your goodbyes. Sign my yearbook. Give me your number. I'll call you later, girl. The universe is trying to give you the opportunity. But if by tomorrow at midnight and maybe 3 days after, you ain't did what you need to, the universe is going to slam the door shut on those things so that you can be pushed into the door of value in the new community. Because again, who wants somebody around them that it's all been contractual? It was always a contractual agreement. Whether energetically, physically, monetarily, sexually, who wants that? You deserve better than that. Y'all, remember that card that flew down there? I didn't even look on the floor. So hold on, let me look and see real quick. I gotta finish the shuffle. I can never stop mid-shuffle. Come on. All right. I just had to make sure it was the right deck because I'll be having cards mixed in. Heart chakra. Archangel Raphael. Raphael also will help you feel safe and find yourself within yourself. So you can call on Raphael. He's also a good warrior of sorts. But heart chakra, things getting a lot more lightweight because you are going to have to close the door on something. Or you can't have seconds until you finish what you already have on your plate. You can't have dessert until you finish what you already got on your plate. So what has to go in order for you to receive the new things? The new things. What's weighing heavy on your heart? I mean, even when I think about the heart, I honestly always think about my yacht and the scales. Because you want to do no harm and take no shit, but you also want to make sure that you keeping your vibration where it needs to be. What I say? We are living single. The Sagittarius full moon, that's a full moon picture over her. A full moon may have revealed something to you about, again, the status of the relationship, your confidence in the relationship, where you want to be in the relationship. But now you're realizing that this may be the best for you right now. And if they really for you, they'll find you on the other side. If they really supposed to be at the party, they'll be at the party. Told y'all last week I saw a homegirl I've known since I was 4, but I haven't seen in 20 years. And when I saw her, it was like magnets. Lots of time has passed. Lots of things have changed. We got all the little dust out the way in the beginning and move right back into, what's up, girl? Where you been? I know I lost you all them years ago, but where you been? If they supposed to be there, they will be there. You don't need to be forcing them to be there. Libra. This phase of Venus is the Libra phase of Venus. So again, things are balancing themselves out. My yacht. Things if you can't make the decision, the universe gonna make the decision for you. It's not gonna be no hard feelings. It's just gonna be what it is. Because they let you sit there on that pot for long enough. You didn't take a piss and you didn't take a... So you got to go. It's going to be all right. You will be... This is the Gemini card, y'all. 6. 6 came out twice already. 12. 21. 6 is also birth, nurturing, fertility, new life. The Lovers. Who's on this card, y'all? Love and Basketball. It's a good movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I went to go to the movie theater to see that when I was 14 years old when it first came out. The week it came out. The day it came out. That's how old I am. Okay? I just look young. Anyway. Love and Basketball. They were separated. They both had to make a decision on where they was going to go. They tried to go to school together. His career fumbled. Her career took off. He went off to do whatever the hell it is that he went to go do. She went off to have to go overseas. Then What happened? He thought he was going to get married to somebody else. Tyra Banks. They was going to get married to somebody else and go off into the sunset. But who was there, though? Who was still part of the community? Who still found their way back to the community because their mamas live right next to each other. So it didn't matter how many paths came in between them, they was going to find their way back to each other. Now, it can be a little toxic because, I mean, I wish a nigga would. Yeah, try to blame me. Then you go, look, you're going to be right there on the other side of the path, right? But it's a good movie. We're going to take the movie for what it is. If you happen to have, in the last couple of weeks, found out that there's been some discrepancy in your relationship, dishonesty in your relationship, you don't know if you can trust your partner, it either has already come to fruition under the Sagittarius full moon, and that's why you're making the decision to be single, or your eyes will be seeing something new or different, and where you were kind of like, I don't know if I should stay, I don't know if I should go, you're going to completely know that you should go. You're going to completely know that you should go, and you're going to be supported in that decision. Because the Most High, your ancestors, your spirits, your deities, your guides, they don't want you to struggle. They don't want you to suffer. They don't want you to have a heavy heart. They don't want you to be worried all the time. They don't want you to doubt your worth. They don't want you to, compare yourself because someone makes you feel like you're not good enough. So they will reveal it so that that person can kick rocks so that they can then replace them with a different community, with a different love, with someone who loves you wholeheartedly and purely. So let that happen if it's going to happen. The star energies within the communities are shifting. You may very well, there might be like something for you to be invited to this week or after this new moon, and you're kind of like, I'm going to stay at the house. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Because it's a spiritual, sovereign journey continued that is not done yet. It won't be done really until fall. What'd I say? Isolation. Chilling by yourself. 5 on his head. Leo energy. Leo season is going to be redonkulous. Patreon had so many Leo cards that came out for their weekly on Sunday. It's insane. I've been like wearing my Nipsey Hussle gear and listening to him more than I usually do. It's strange, but it's going up. It's going up by the 888 portal, Lionsgate. Yeah, so now let me pull some moon cards, and I'm gonna close this down because I've been talking, and I gotta go do some individual readings for Patreon. So again, if you are on Patreon, you get the opportunity to get a free reading every new moon, every full moon. Individual, specific to your birth time, your birth chart, how these things are affecting you, and any type of suggestions that I may offer or find that can be offered. So I encourage you to join the tribe. Patreon is a whole nother vibe in and of itself. Let's see what our final energies are. This one flew out. Action. 15 is a card. 6. Complete activation. Action. It's time to take action. You see she's dancing. Those even look like Gemini colors. Like those pinks and those yellows. Fear. Fear is making you commit or has you committed to an outdated reality, an outdated purpose. But again, hard no's. If you don't know how to let the no come, Gemini New Moon will snatch it from you. Don't worry. Because it's time to be purified. That's even that Virgo energy. Purify yourself of thoughts that are not yours, of outdated specialties, of outdated practices, so that you can get ready. And then the final energy is darkness. And have you ever been in a room where you were in the dark and someone turned the light on real quick? And you're like, turn that light off, turn that light off. And your eyes could see better in the dark than they actually could see when that light was on. Dilation. Your eyes had gotten used to that room. Your eyes had gotten used to seeing in the dark. When you can see in the dark, you're not afraid of the dark. When you realize that sometimes if you close your eyes, that's how you will be able to see through the situation. Sometimes you will have to close your eyes to see through the situation. Sometimes you have to close your eyes to see the truth. Your mother's womb was dark and chaotic before your heartbeat formed. So take reverence and appreciation for every stage and every phase of your journey. So this concludes the new moon reading, y'all. Have a good one. Holla back.